What's up YouTube, Kinggoken here. Welcome to part 2 of my Bloodrayne Betrayal's Red Skull Locations video walkthrough. And as you can see at the very start of the stage, you're greeted by one of the most annoying enemies to fight in this game. It's those small little green monster things. And I was having some issues beating them at first. Like I was able to beat them, but I couldn't beat them fast. So I played through the game quite a bit. And I figured out that really the best way to take them out is to just do a dash and attack into them. Just hit them once, and they're down. I basically figured that out just by experimenting with the combat and all that. And I hope that my little tip can help you guys as well. Now, as far as the red skulls on the stage, there's only two, and the first one I passed this one a lot, but the very first red skull is actually up here. And I found that by just thinking to myself, if I was the creator of this game, if I was the one who designed this stage, where would I hide the red skull? And I figured that I would hide it in places that that the gamer wouldn't just find just by playing through the level a couple of times. I'll put it somewhere that the gamer really won't think to check to look. So I started thinking, well, okay, that first red skull, it has to be like hidden somewhere high up in a corner somewhere. And that's how I found that first one. Now, I guess another small tip that I can give you guys as far as the combat goes, really though, when you're playing through the game, and if you really want to get a high score, if you really want to get a higher ranking for your performance in the stage, you do have to keep a number of things in mind. One, you have to complete the stage pretty fast. Two, you have to try not to get hit a lot. And also, I'm gonna have to go ahead and say that sucking your opponent's blood, trying to get more health back, that may deduct from your score. I'm not sure if it does, but I realized after playing through this stage, I didn't buy any of my enemies to get more health back, and I realized that my score was actually higher. So I'm not sure if it was because I finished the stage fast, or if I'm just better at the game. I'm not sure, but I guess that's one thing to keep in mind if you really want to get your score higher. Now, one thing I do have to say real quick, it's about exploding barrels, and I may have said this in my other video, but you really should wait for the maximum amount of enemies on screen before you decide to blow one up, because that will really help you, especially if you want to get that extra time bonus. Now, here's red skull number 2. Now this one, that one was actually very, very tricky to find. Basically, I was playing through the level, and I noticed that was the only part in the level where you can actually see through the wall. So I figured that the game had to have been hiding something there, and and my hunch was correct. They hit the second red skull, which is actually the very last red skull for this stage. There's only 2 red skulls, but I mean, it was pretty cool finding it. Now right here, I take on my enemies pretty fast here. There are various tricks to the combat that I probably could mention. Like, for example, if you just hit square by itself, and if you're standing at a certain distance from your opponent, your character will kick that opponent, and if there are any enemies in his way, he'll knock down your other enemies as well. That's actually a very cool trick to know, because you get extra points for it, and 2, it does give you some breathing room. It gives you a chance to to attack your enemies. But now let's get to this boss real quick. You can actually start attacking this boss right before he even starts attacking you, or it, I should say. I thought that was pretty cool that you can attack him, before it starts attacking you. That's actually a pretty good thing to know, because especially with later bosses in the game, the bosses do get much harder and more challenging. And the ones in all the bosses that I faced so far, you are able to attack them before the health bar comes on the screen. So that's a very good trick to know. But anyway, though, that pretty much wraps up this video. I thank you guys for watching. I'll have part 3 up pretty soon. Kinggoken out.